For me, when I was younger, like even before I started drinking and using drugs and stuff, like I felt like out of place and different and just not comfortable like with myself. And then like the first time I drank and started using drugs, like that just, it like alleviated that, and I just felt like comfortable and at peace for once. And like that's when it really like started, I guess. Like it made me feel right. Yeah, by the time I was 12, I smoked pot for the first time. I used cocaine and opiates like pain pills when I was 13 for the first time, and then it slowly just like, well, quickly actually progressed from there, like became everyday thing. I mean, for a while it was just smoking weed and drinking on the weekends and then dabbling with other things from time to time, but pretty quickly by like sophomore year I was physically dependent on opiates and doing anything I could really get my hands on. And I told myself when I first started, like, I'm never gonna end up like this person, or I'm never gonna end up like that person. Like I was involved in sports. I played basketball. I was starting around the varsity basketball team as a sophomore. Got good grades early on in high school and in middle school, and then slowly like it started like taking other things in my life started taking a back seat. Started realizing like the progression of it. I started like trying to stop or trying to control it, and I like realized that I really couldn't do that. Like I'd make it, you know, a week or a few days and then go back to it and get back on it. And, so it was like a baffling, confusing thing, like internally for me. Like, why can't I drink like other people, or just go to parties, or why can't I like just use on the weekends, or you know, things like that. And the next thing, and then one drug would wear out, and then I'd no longer be getting high on that one, so I'd want to try another one, and then it was just like all bets were off, really. Like I'm just kind of along for the ride. Because I told myself I was never going to use needles, told myself I was never going to do heroin and all that stuff, and did it all. So it wasn't going to get better for me until I really was done. Like I wanted to be done using and drinking. Like I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. But at that point, like if any sort of like treatment or introduction to recovery or like programs and stuff was possible, like in those intervals, like that would have been helpful. But it definitely had to like come from within me first. Like I had to realize that like drugs and alcohol were no longer like a sufficient solution for me to like make me feel right. When I finally realized that like I don't want anything to do with this, and I don't know how to stay clean on my own, and I need all the help I can get, like that was like the turning point for me. Anything that could get somebody hooked up with somebody in recovery, like as soon as possible, I think would be really beneficial. Like when I look back today, like the stuff that I did in those periods of time were not anything close to like the person I am. You know, like all morals, values, cares, love, like all that stuff is not in the equation at all. Or like in the last 3-4 years of my use, I kind of just chalked it up to, I'm gonna be a junkie, and this is what I do, and this is what I'm meant to do, and I'm gonna do this till I die. And that's a horrible way to live. So I'm just super grateful for, like, I went through the drug court program. That was definitely like a good starting point. It got me like involved in recovery and the 12 steps and stuff like that, and that's where I really found like the solution. We're just like everybody else, you know. People who are addicts are like, I have some of the most awesome people in my life who are just as miserable and just causing just as much as harm as I was. So give people a chance.